Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our LinkedIn Live today. I'm delighted to have the lovely Gina London with me again. Hello, Gina. How are you?
Hey, Sam. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're seated or standing at this point in time. We are absolutely happy to be with you today.
Yeah, and you know what's really special about today, folks? Um, we are going to be talking about Gina has a book coming out, okay, everybody. And we're
I,
going to be talking about how to connect more powerfully in an AI world. And we're going to give you some little tips and little insights. But I want to ask Gina, first of all, Gina, why did you decide to write this book?
the book has been a need for a long time because it is what I have the privilege of doing,
Hmm.
helping people take more control of the version of them they bring to any situation. And then in the last couple of years, with the absolute advent and acceleration of AI coming in to substitute for almost everything that we do, data, emails, imagery, all this stuff that we're starting to feel like, oh, we can have AI do that. We can have AI do that. What AI cannot do and should not do is be a substitute for you.
Hmm.
So it is absolutely urgent now for you to take control of how you power up the human that you are to make better connections, better collaborations, better communications. You can't be substituted by AI with everything else, or you possibly can be. But if you want to be irreplaceable, then you need to harness who you are. And the idea of why this matters, I think there's a lot of information out there, but how to actually do it is where I really come on board.
Yes, and you really add so much value with your tips, Gina. And even going to the event that we went to last Thursday, Regina Mangan put on a great event, the Real Estate Agency Summit. And even your presence on the stage, Gina. Oh my goodness. I was talking to some people and they were like, oh my God, when she came on the stage, I was just like in awe. So even that presence, nobody can, I mean, it might be holograms in the future, but that stage presence, all of that, like meeting you in person, face to face, like it was so powerful. Um,
Look,
I definitely get.
thanks, Sam. I appreciate that. This was an event in Ireland, but on global stages, no matter where I go, this is exactly what some people say to me, like, oh, you had such presence, or oh, your voice really carried, or oh, you were able to spotlight the other people and make them even be shiner than they already were. How do you do that? Oh, you're such a natural. And I say, no, the natural part is about 1% of it, folks.
Mm,
This is a developable skill, how to dial yourself up or potentially dial yourself down. Intentional communications is about curating who you are so that you can make better, more lasting, positive connections. Your authenticity is curated, it's a series of choices. If you're still banging around, just whatever comes out of your mouth is what comes out, or whatever you pull out of the closet or pick off the floor is the first thing that you wear, or whatever, however you hold your body is. If you do all of that stuff without any thought at all,
mm.
you are missing myriad opportunities because people are making those impressions all the time. It's happening either by default or by design. And that is what I want people to get excited about, not feel like, oh, I have to become another Gina or a Sam or whoever. No, but you can take the you and amplify it with intention and purpose. And I have QR codes to help you actually see me put it into practice step by step. So it's not just a book about that you can read, it's actually a book that you can experience.
Ooh,
And I
nice.
want you to experience it for you or you or you or wherever you are.
Oh, that's lovely. And you know what? I've seen so many people write about AI, and this is really, I love the title, How to Connect More Powerfully. Tell me a little bit about, the chapters in the book. Like, what will you be covering?
Sure. Well, the book title is Amplify You, as I was just saying. It's not about change you, it's not about becoming somebody else. It's about learning that you're an instrument. You are this human being that is interacting with people all the time. So, how do you understand what those elements are that are impacting others, and how do you pack that up with more purpose? The how to power yourself up in an AI world is exactly what I'm trying to help you do through the 3 sections. The first section is say it, the second section is look it, and the third section is be it. So the first section, say it, starts off with the notion that we're the first person that we talk to every morning and the last person we talk to at night. What self-sabotage or gremlins in our talk track are making us not be as effective? So we talk about how we talk about ourselves to ourselves. Where do they come from? What do we do to reinforce things that are serving us? How do we lessen or reduce the things that aren't serving us? The second section then, or the next part then, is how do we speak to others? So once we are learning about how we speak to ourselves, do we compare ourselves? Are we saying negative things to ourselves? Then we think about, okay, now how do we say things to others? How do we take control of our voice? How do we take control of the words that we choose? How do we even think about what listening is? Because that's another form of how we're saying things to other people, even without speaking a word. And that moves right then into the look. How do we choose what to do with our face? How do we choose what to do with our body and our hands? How do we choose to look interested? Even if maybe we're initially feeling like, oh, there's not much in here for me. What if I turn on my face to look more animated? It automatically starts to turn on more of our brain. And then as a result, we're more likely to have a positive mindset about it. And we're more likely then to actually take more things on board. So grooming, clothing, facial expressions, all that is in the look at section. Cross-cultural awareness in all of those categories as well, by the way, because it's important to keep that in mind. And then the third section, be it, puts it together. So how do you bring your awareness and your voice and your body language and your word choice all together for an interview? How do you manage other people? How do you conduct yourself on a stage? How do you present? All of that application after the education. And then I even have a section on frequently asked questions where people say, well, what about my authenticity? Well, I'm shy. I don't think this is for me. Well, I'm from a different culture, or I don't want to do all this stuff. I answer all those questions. And I really think that, if I may be so bold, this is essentially a guidebook for how to become a more intentional human being, how to communicate with purpose, to human up yourself until you are overtaken by a hologram.
Well, you're real here on the camera. I know that you're definitely real.
I'm here. It's me, really.
So if anyone is interested, by the way, if you go to GinaLondon.com, the link is underneath. If you go to GinaLondon.com, they can pre-order the book now. Is that correct?
That's correct. The book comes out September 1st. So right now we've got pre-orders are live wherever you get your books. If you're in the UK, you can go to Waterstones. If you're in the US, where globally, you can go to Amazon or to barnesandnobles.com, and you can pre-order the book today. So it's ready to roll. We have our launch in September.
And I have mine pre-ordered, so I can't wait. I can't wait. So can I just ask you one question that someone might ask? So you said, say it, look it, be it. How important is the look it part when you are walking into a strange room?
The look at part is essential. And I'm not talking about every woman needs to have a Chanel dress or a guy has to have an Armani suit. I'm talking about first of all, maybe a classic style, depending on knowing your audience, so that you're not blending in and invisible, but that you're in that same kind of a apparel culture. So is your attire appropriate to the setting? Are you in an artsy situation? Do you feel artsy? Are you the artsy person in a corporate setting? No one thing is the right thing for anyone, but you do need to build your awareness and acknowledge that what you do wear sends a message. Of course it does. For example, if I were going into a bank in the Middle East, I would have a collar that was up here and not a V-neck collar like I'm wearing now. Not because this isn't also me, but because I'm being respectful and showing value to my audience. And that's about what we're wearing sends a message of how well we respect ourselves and how well we respect others. Full stop. You want to be funky with socks, you want to be funky with shoes, you want to wear really long earrings, that's fine. Know that it sends a message. This is not about everyone conforming. It's about you making an informed decision, backing up that decision. Same with hair, same with grooming. What color are your nails? How many piercings do you have? I'm not saying there's any one prescription for anyone, but that you're taking ownership for this is sending a message. Once that first impression of you is decided, the next question is, how do you present it with your physicality? So do you walk into the room like this? Do you walk into the room like this? I mean, all of those facial expressions and posture positions are also sending a message. So I want people to understand that they can take control of it. They can feel what it feels like to walk into a room, slowly look around with a little bit of a pleasant smile, not to be fake, but to understand that this is a physical skill to practice. And most schools do not teach this alongside other technical skills. And that is to the detriment of us as human beings. Why would you? And there's no shame if you don't know how to give a proper global handshake. But I try to break down everything that I've gone through in the 60 countries I've been to and the hundreds of thousands of people I've worked at so that you have some best practices globally. Oh, but I live in a part of Southeast Asia where we wouldn't handshake. That's fine. If you're a host country, then your traditions lead. However, if you are going to a country where a handshake in a business setting would be an indicator of a traditional way to greet someone, I want you to feel comfortable that you know how to deliver that. So we actually even have that in one of my QR codes so you can see it. I can't come into your house and I can't squeeze all your hands properly, but I want you to know what it feels like to give an intentional handshake, not the dead fish, and also not the Donald Trump, I'm going to shake your hand until your hand falls off and never let go. I want you to understand best practices of how you walk into a room, of how you sit, of how you listen, how you look when you listen, how you can project your voice when you present. Oh, that's all just stuff people know. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. So don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. Buy my book and get yourself equipped, because confidence doesn't come first. This is really important. Oh, you need to be more confident. You need to be more confident. Confident is the outcome. Confidence is the result of knowing the things that you can take more control of and feeling comfortable doing it. It's a result of the actions. It doesn't come first and then you do the actions. You do the actions, and the confidence is the result.
Yeah, brilliant. And can I ask you, what was the biggest challenge writing the book?
Getting it all on paper. Look, I'm a former journalist, and the hardest thing for me to write was to not be editing with everything as I was writing, going, oh yeah, why does that matter? Oh, well, what are they going to say about this story? Oh, well, do you think that's the right word choice for this particular sentence? Please believe me, folks, imposter syndrome is alive and well right here. I write a 900-word column every week for the largest circulated newspaper in Ireland, but that doesn't mean I felt comfortable enough to confidently every day just churn out 70,000 words, which is what this book ultimately is, more or less. And even to have the arc of what are the sections, or where am I going to begin, or what am I going to leave out, or what should I better put in that I wasn't thinking I would put in. I have 10 case studies at the back, examples of real people that I've worked with. I've changed their names to protect the wonderful, not so innocent sometimes. I've got stories of people that don't work that didn't lead in the same intentionality as well. But I thought those are important to actually just share. Hey, here's how Billy Bob put this into action, and here was the result. Here's how Michaela didn't put it into action, and here was the result. These kinds of things I think are important too. but what to put in, what to leave out, what order the flow would go in, what stories to tell. My editor, for example, I was always positioning it as the AI urgency, but he said you actually need a whole chapter on how AI is not a substitute for people and what is happening when people are too dependent on your AI generated presentation script or your interview questions. If you haven't actually articulated it and made it sound like you, then you're going to be really not coming through as an authentic version of yourself. And so I wrote a whole extra chapter because my publicist said, oh, I think you need to expand and actually include a whole chapter dedicated to that. So thanks, Mark.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. No, that's great. I'm really delighted for you. So we're really excited and looking forward to it. So we're probably going to do another LinkedIn Live around this topic.
Good.
We're in the Say It category, the Look It, Be It. We might even do 3. So definitely check out GinaLondon.com, folks. If you want to have a look, it's called Amplify You, and it is available on Amazon, Waterstones. Go to GinaLondon.com and you'll see all the options.
Absolutely right. Thank you so much.
And if anyone needs Gina to speak at an event or facilitate an event, I can tell you she was absolutely fabulous at the event recently. If you want to host an MC, anything like that, I highly recommend Gina.
Look, it's my absolute privilege wherever I go to help people take more control of how they show up. It's not something that is just for other people and not for you. Anybody can make some more informed decisions around the choices they make. But first, they have to actually be introduced to what those choices are, because for most people, it's all this simultaneous stuff happening at once, and they don't know how to control it because they haven't unpacked each little ingredient, seeming little ingredients, not to overthink each ingredient. Oh, what do I wear? How do I hold my face? What am I doing with my hands? What am I doing with my posture? Now it's too much. But we're talking about rebuilding one at a time, incrementally over time, so it doesn't become overwhelming. This book isn't something that I want you to just read through and listen to the QR, watch the QR codes, and then suddenly you're transformed. It will awaken you, heighten your awareness, and then little by little you can pick one aspect a week and start to power yourself up holistically over time. The 30 days that you put in after reading the book will begin to inform the 90 days of the rest of your life. And then you continue to pay that forward and you gradually build yourself so that at the end of a few months, people are going to say, wow, you're so natural. And you and I are both going to know, no, I've been making some real pointed decisions and making some real practice changes to the way that I do things. And that's okay, because that's not changing you, it's amplifying you.
Thank you, Gina. We'll see you next month. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Feel free to comment, and we shall see you on LinkedIn.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, everyone.